Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to The Ordinary Snob. Oh, but wait, this is actually the first Snobcast. Yes, play on words, I know. So, what we're going to do on Snobcast is just randomly talk however, we want freely. These are our own individual opinions, so in case they say something really jacked up, I don't take credit for that at all, because, So, today's topic, we're just really talking about the Nike Colin Kaepernick decision and how it's affecting the world today and why are so many people butthurt. I don't understand, so yeah, that's our discussion. So
those noodles. That's why they're butthurt. That's what fucking did it.
I remember those.
So does your rectal.
So, what are your thoughts on this?
Don't start with me, start with Thawn.
Why?
Because you're funny.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I have an opinion yet.
I think Susan should start.
I'm a devil's advocate, so throw something out there.
She is the ordinary snob.
Alright, so this is my thing. Everyone has their own freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. I get it. So, all of the, I don't want to say Republicans. I'm not going to say that. Because I know that's what you are, I think. But anyway, the people that are butthurt, you don't get out of my face. The people that are butthurt are like, stand for the flag. You shouldn't be kneeling, blah, blah, blah. And it's everyone's right to do what they want. Colin Kaepernick is doing it to prove a point and to make a point.
What's the point?
The point is a freedom of speech, and it was to, show the amount of police brutality against black people in America. To protest unnecessary police violence.
By taking a knee and not
correct.
To...
It's not that he doesn't love America. Okay. It's the fact of, people are like, well, why do it on a football field? Well, what other platform does he have?
Well, for him, that is the only platform.
Exactly.
Yeah. He could do it at home.
But it wouldn't.
That's not the point.
Right.
Yeah, I think we can all just start off by agreeing that nobody is going to support police brutality, whether you're Republican, Democrat, in between, somewhere else. Nobody wants people to beat people up on purpose for no reason.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, I guess the other side of things, against Colin Kaepernick or against, his the movement he started last year, a couple of years ago, I guess their point is that, at least from what I've heard, that it's not doing anything. And I kind of agree and I kind of don't agree because, kneeling on a field, during the national anthem, America doesn't represent police brutality. And I think that's, the way that I look at it is, I was brought up upon the ideal that, you stand, you put your hand over your heart, and whatever you want to do, take your hat off, whenever the national anthem's played, because, that's where you come from, that's, who you are. You respect the country that, made you, who you are, or...
But when the country doesn't respect you, what do?
But why doesn't the country respect you?
You tell me.
Well, I think you say that the country doesn't disrespect people. It's, certain police departments or whatever that do.
Yeah, I just don't...
But they all encompass it as the country, so to speak.
Yeah, I just don't think that, I don't think that you should, I guess, put that on America or put that on something that is, holistic over America because of the individual actions of different police departments, you know what I mean? Because in Akron, for example, which is where we're from, or where I'm from,
I ain't from here.
I'm not from Akron, but okay.
But anyways, Akron.
Yeah, so Akron, where I'm from, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Or at least if it has.
What doesn't happen?
Like police brutality, and if it does, it's not like, mainstream media like craziness, you know what I mean?
Because they hide it real well?
Yeah. No, honestly, I don't think it happens as often as people think it does, you know what I mean? It's not like every single day in every single city, black people are getting beat up because they're black.
I agree with you. I think that it's just televised more and we shine spotlights on it more. But I think it actually has gone down. Mm-hmm. I think that when you look at statistics, there are a lot of statistics that show over time, the way that we live and you know, a lot of things in our country and the world have gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, statistically, if you look at the numbers, like, you know, people don't get sick and people don't die as much, and people don't, you know, people live longer, people are healthier. There's a lot of things that over time, if you look at the statistics, life has improved, and you know, in large amounts.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at, for example, like in the 1800s or the 1700s, like if you were black, you were a slave, and you just got beat just because you were black. Like, no, those are the days. You know what I mean? Like, but nowadays, and obviously that was completely wrong. But to further your point, you know, I think it's, I guess, kneeling for the flag. I don't think it correlates, or kneeling for the national anthem. I don't think it correlates with what they're trying to correlate it with.
I mean, going back to what Susan said, though, I mean, what better way to draw attention to it? I mean, that has been an effective way to draw attention to it. So
I mean, everybody watches football, and
right.
he's obviously a very popular football player, anyways.
And they want to know why he did it, and then they think about it, and then we talk about it. So in that respect, it's successful.
I think also, you know, people are saying the military, they don't appreciate this and things like that. And I was watching something today online, and Pat Tillman, I don't know if you recall who he is, he played football. He was also a veteran. He was killed in action. And he probably 98% would have agreed with Colin Kaepernick and what he's doing.
Just based on what his previous ideals were.
Correct. And it's not because, you know, not every vet agrees with this, but there are some vets that do agree. Not just black vets, white vets, Asian vets. So, I mean, for people to say, well, you can't do this, you can't kneel during the flag during a football game. If you do, I'll fine you, such as owner Jerry Jones. I called you out, bitch. It's just, it's their right to do that. How dare you take my right away to say, you know what, I'm paying you just to play football. Fuck you. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole thing about the United States or America, you know, as a whole, like the flag is a symbol of a lot of things: freedom of speech, you know, freedom of religion, you know, union, you know, all of us coming together and, you know, working together to be a better country, a better place. You know what I mean? And I don't think that fining people over, you know, doing something that is, you know, considered freedom of speech, you know, should be allowed. It doesn't make any sense, you know. Like if I walk down the street, they actually just passed a law in Myrtle Beach. I don't know if you know this or not. They passed a law in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that if you are caught by an officer swearing while you're walking down the street, it's an $80 fine. And in my personal opinion, like for, you know, the legal mind that I have and everything that I could ever imagine, like that is a direct violation of freedom of speech. I mean, you know, literally it is, you said something and because we didn't like what you said, we're going to punish you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't want to hear cussing all the time.
What the fuck do you mean? So, let me ask you this. Who, like, why was this law even brought up? Why was that law even brought up? Like, what happened for them to...
Yeah, you know, honestly, I don't know. I think, I mean, I just went down to Myrtle Beach in May, you know what I mean? And I guess you could say that maybe because of the population density down there during that time of the year, the abundance of cursing in public was higher than average, I guess you could say. But honestly, you know, if I were, you know, a lawyer analyzing why that law was passed, or if I was passing the law, I would argue to say that it's just to make money. Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, I always have been a believer that laws should protect people from harm or protect people from, you know.
It hurts to hear bad words.
Well, yeah, but, you know,
I just
suck it up. You know what I mean?
I don't like cursing around small children.
I agree.
That's just me. I mean, but I restrain myself, whereas some people just don't give a damn.
Right.
And they're going to hear it eventually. So that's the only thing I can honestly think of. And
I don't disagree. I mean, me personally, I won't like swear up and down around my kids. So I completely agree. But at the same time, I just don't think that you should be fined $80 or so
not.
because you say something, whether it's around a kid or not. And of course, that's not even a clause in the law. It's not. If you're around a child under 10 years old or whatever.
Yeah, it's more of a responsibility of the parent to remove the children from that
Absolutely.
Situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think a lot of times they like to put a law in a book, not to always use it, but just to use it for certain situations.
Exactly.
Or because they can or whatever. They probably won't use it all the time. There's a lot of weird laws in the books that are not used all the time.
Yeah.
But if they want to, they can use it.
As a means to do something else.
Right.
So be it. Yeah. But back to Colin Kaepernick. I mean, as far as the freedom of speech thing goes, I just being fined for something that he's not talking about.
He's not even just fined; he's blacklisted.
Yeah.
For football. People's like, oh, he wasn't that great of a quarterback. Then yeah, he was actually. He was great. He was good.
Listen, if you're in the NFL, you were one of the greatest football players to ever walk the face of the earth. Period.
I can't throw a football like he can, so
I mean, look at how many people play in the NFL as compared to the amount of people who are in the United States. Like, it's a very, very, very small percentage of people that make it to the NFL. And I mean, even if you look at the percentage of people who played football coming up through their life, and the people who make it into the NFL, it's still extremely small.
Okay, but where do you draw the line? So if you're a professional football player and you're getting paid, so freedom of speech, you can do anything, say anything. You can use that forum to, pull down your pants or whatever.
Right. And that's where the whole drawing the line thing, I guess, really has to come into play, because the NFL is a private industry. It's a private business. It's a business. It is a business, 100%. Just like, in my job, I can't go and tell Parker, hi Parker, if you're watching this, I can't go and tell Parker to fuck off and not expect to get any repercussions for that.
What are you going to say? You're protesting?
It's freedon of speech.
You're protesting that you don't get enough smoke breaks?
Exactly.
So
Cody Stacy.
Yeah, come on, Cody. So I mean, if it's private and you're paid to be there doing your job, I mean, there's some argument for that,
And it is a private, it's not, like I said, it's a private business, but at the same time, it's a very public private business.
Yes.
All the players are well known by everybody. And each franchise is public or privately owned by a different owner. You know what I mean? So like, where it's very gray, where it's like this club finds this player, this club doesn't find their players at all, or whatever. It's like it's hard to find a clear defined line without saying if you kneel you get fined, or if you kneel you can't play football, or if you kneel whatever. So
well, I guess it's like different companies. Like certain companies let you do other things. Certain companies don't allow it. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't like this company because you can't smoke. Go out and go to a different company.
Go work for Vince McMahon's XFL or whatever it is.
They'll let you do it. They'll let you do it. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that. I don't think you should be fined, but at the same time, I see the other side of the story. I see where it's like people, who fought for our country, and it's all about like how you view what they're doing too. I've always been a big believer in perception is reality. And, if you think that them kneeling for the flag, if you look at the flag as, or not the flag, but the national anthem as a symbol of, reverence, or like, you respect that of some sort, and him kneeling is disrespecting that, then, like I said, perception is reality. If you perceive the national anthem in that way, then of course you're going to perceive them kneeling as disrespectful. When, in their case, it might not be that the national anthem is, something of a reverence. Maybe they just think it's just another song that represents our country.
But to those folks who do, you're disrespecting them and the country and the government and everything that we stand for in this country.
And, and to kind of go opposite of that too, I really don't think that just because like a certain group of people think something that it should be that way. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's a law, of course, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, just because, I think that you shouldn't be wearing that, gray shirt because it offends me and Susan agrees with me, does that mean that you can't wear that gray shirt because two people disagree with one?
No. up.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So, I don't know, Susan. What do you think? You and your dog. You and Lily.
Lily has finally made it to the video. So I think that sometimes, depending on who it is, like a Jerry Jones, yeah, I said his name again. He's one of those do as I say, because I
Not
pay
as I
you.
do.
And it makes me very angry as, and I hate saying.
I'm very easygoing.
Okay, Bixby, whenever you.
Very easygoing. Bullshit.
Okay.
Siri all the way.
Thanks, Bixby. I think as a black person in the United States, actually a black Native American woman in the United States.
You got fucked off 12 different directions.
See, that's not fucked up. I'm happy to be where I am and what I am. I think that people such as myself see things just a little differently. Just a little bit. I'm not saying, everybody go militant and, what is that going to do? But at least stand up for your rights. And I mean, what was that quote that I showed you on that poster he had? Hold on, I'll find it. It was very powerful and I loved it. It was
Like sacrifice anything to
yeah.
your beliefs or something.
Yeah, and the thing, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. And that is so true. That's almost a play off of if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's, people want to boycott Nike. Nike is not going to be hurting for money. I promise you. They lost
Not at
$1
all.
billion. What is that? What is billion? 2 cents? What?
I'm gonna cut off my
Please.
socks
We got
right
two
now.
people in here right
Right.
now wearing Nike leggings.
Right. So it's like, okay, cut off your socks. Dummy, you paid for them already. Burn your shoes. Oh, that's right. You forgot to take your shoes off before you burned them. Are you really that stupid?
Dumbass.
Right? I mean, okay.
It just goes to show you that people doing that shit really shouldn't be involved in any type of politics whatsoever because they're dumb
Right.
fucking enough to burn off their own shoes while they're still on.
I mean, seriously, just.
It's
and-
freedom of speech, okay?
Freedom of stupidity.
You know what? That's right. We'll just call it
Fucking
that.
users.
I want to burn my feet so I don't have to go to work tomorrow. That's, I mean, stupid.
So moving on from, now we kind of like sorted through the whole Colin Kaepernick thing and I guess the opinions on like what he's doing and what it does. Like what about Nike? Like what do you think about what Nike's doing, like sponsoring him?
Loved it.
Even though, because he's
They-
not currently technically an athlete in the NFL, right?
Technically, they've been sponsoring him from what I read for a couple years now. Nobody knew it.
Mm.
Yes.
I
Nike.
definitely think it's pretty bold
Staying private.
to, stick with it.
And for
A lot of companies would just back out.
Yeah.
because they don't want to touch it. Look at
Right.
no football team wants to touch him.
Yeah.
Nike-
Not that this is very similar in any way, but I mean, if you look at someone whose public image was, I guess, hurt by the disliking of him by other people, look at Tiger Woods. Whenever that whole scandal went down, of course, doing what he did was not right, but Nike didn't drop him, which was the first person everybody thought of that would drop him. After
They didn't?
No, they didn't. Not for a second. Yeah. Buick dropped him, Gatorade dropped him, and a bunch of other companies that were involved with him, and Nike stayed on board. And so, I think it goes to show that Nike thinks that, first of all, you should be able to speak your mind regardless of, what the cost, as that poster said or as that flyer said. And then on top of that too, I think Nike isn't a company that would punish you for making one mistake, because in all reality, what you do, and in Colin Kaepernick's case, he wants it to be in public light. What athletes do or what celebrities do, they do the same thing as we do, except it's on TV. You know what I mean? It's in the public light.
I think it's also calculated. Depends on what you do, and I think they probably calculated that it's risky, but it's like investing over time.
Right.
It's a
And if you
50-50 chance.
And if you stick with it, it's probably gonna
Make
pay
you more
off,
money
make
in
you
the
more
long
money.
run. Yeah.
But it all depends on what you do, and
Right.
I don't think that what they did, either one of them did, was. You're right. It's human. It's what we all do.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, or we all choose to be follow our heart or whatever, and sometimes it's controversial. Sometimes people don't like it, but it depends on what it is. I mean, in both of those scenarios, they decided to stick with those folks. So
I told Thawn earlier, I said, the funny thing is everybody's like, oh, let's go to Reebok. So Reebok had supported apartheid years ago. I mean, is that okay?
No, of course not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're going to run to Reebok. Okay, that's fine.
Reebok's a shitty company anyways.
No
Where the
one
fuck do you
cares
see
about
Reebok?
there.
In hockey? I'm pretty sure the only like sports friend or the sports like industry that Reebok sponsors is hockey. Do they even sponsor hockey? Who knows? Nobody watches hockey either.
they sponsor
Oh,
paintball.
I didn't say that.
I did.
His own
I don't
opinion.
watch hockey. I'd say probably 1 in 100 people in the United States watch hockey, if that.
It's like, who watches soccer?
A lot of dude.
Oh,
I've never played soccer. I've never had any interest in soccer, but I still watch soccer because fucking everybody else does. So
FIFA.
They don't call it.
That's it.
football
Right.
with the FU.
Right?
Football.
Football.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So what do you think? Let's wrap this up. Final closing statements. Thawn, as Susan's mom would like to say. Thawn.
Why you call me underwear names all the time?
I don't know. Post it. Thawn right there. You see it?
Right?
I don't know. I think that I support, basically freedom of speech. So I don't think that people should be against it. I understand the controversy. I understand, but you're always going to have people that do things you don't like, and you don't need to punish them like that for it.
My thought is, if he is going to have tennis shoes and a t-shirt, as long as the tennis shoes are fly, I will buy them. I will buy a t-shirt. If the tennis shoes aren't fly, then I'll buy several t-shirts. Power to the people. Thank you, Nike. Thank you, Colin Kaepernick.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with both of them, and I think that what we have to really focus on here is that freedom of speech is the number one thing that's in question here. Well, it is a private industry, you know what I mean? It's a very public private industry, as I said earlier, and if you're going to blacklist somebody and not let them play in the NFL, or make it to where nobody else wants to let them play in the NFL because of something that they think or something they believe in, then the NFL needs to look in the mirror and self-reflect and think, am I really standing for, what I truly believe in, or what, my organizations truly believe in. So, yeah.
Well, what a powerful Snobcast. Anywho, so thanks for tuning in to The Ordinary Snob and our first Snobcast. There will be more to come, and we will see you next time.